If you've ever watched Iron Man and thought, I want that, an AI that actually knows my business, handles my calendar, reads my email, and talks back to me like a real assistant, this series is for you. My name is John, and a few months ago, I decided to stop waiting for someone to build that and just build it myself. Not by learning to code. I'm not a developer, I run a business. What I did was partner with an AI, specifically Claude, from a company called Anthropic, and treat it like a technical co founder. It wrote the code, I directed the vision, and together we built a working deployed AI assistant I actually use every day. I call it Jarvis. And in this series, I'm going to walk you through exactly how we built it, every phase, every decision, every mistake, so that you can either build your own or understand exactly what you'd be getting if you hired someone to build it for you. You don't need to know how to code. You need to be curious, reasonably comfortable with technology, and willing to think like a product owner rather than a passenger. Let's start at the very beginning. Phase one, the idea. Every piece of software starts the same way. Someone describes what they want. The difference between a vague wish and a buildable product is specificity. Here's what I knew I wanted before we wrote a single line of code. I wanted an AI assistant with a personality. Not a generic chatbot, but something with a consistent voice, a little dry wit, and the directness of a senior executive assistant who respects your time. I wanted it to connect to my real tools, not pretend to help with my email, actually read it, draft replies, summarize threads. Same with my calendar, my Slack, and the web. I wanted it to remember things. If I tell it something important about a client or a project, I don't want to repeat myself next session. It should retain context over time. I wanted it to be accessible from a browser, secured so only I could log in, and fast enough to feel responsive rather than sluggish. And I wanted it to eventually run pipelines on my behalf, automated workflows that kick off without me lifting a finger. That's it. That's the full product definition, not a technical spec, a wish list written in plain English. Here's the key insight from this phase. Most people never build what they want because they think they need to know how to build it before they can describe it. That's backwards. Your job, as the business owner, the product owner, the person with the vision, is to describe the what and the why with as much precision and specificity as you can. The technical how is someone else's problem. In our case, it became Claude's problem. The questions you need to answer in this phase are simple. What does it do? What does it connect to? Who can use it? How fast does it need to feel? What happens if it breaks? Write those answers down. That document, even if it's just a few bullet points on a notes app, is your product definition. Everything that gets built flows from it. One thing I'd tell my past self, be specific about integrations early. I want it to connect to email is fine. I want it to read Gmail, draft replies in my voice, and summarize unread threads from the last 48 hours is buildable. The more concrete you are, the less time gets wasted on assumptions. That's phase one, deceptively simple, surprisingly important. In the next video, we move to phase two, architecture decisions. This is where we take your wish list and translate it into a technical blueprint. Which programming languages, which databases, which services, and why. You don't need to understand all of it deeply, but you do need to understand enough to ask the right questions. I'll explain every choice we made for Jarvis in plain English. No jargon, no assumptions. See you in phase two.